All right, Gaza, we are live. So, welcome to episode 43 of the Pogo Baduk Weiqi podcast. I am Dai, and we have Gaza.
We do have Gaza.
We do
I
have
am
Gaza.
Gaza.
You're Gaza. Yeah, Gaza. Um, Gaza, this is a big week for Go. Because,
Biggest week of the year so far.
oh, yes. Wow. Yes, okay, yeah, that's true. Now, Gaza, let's get into it. Well, of course, this week, why was it so big? It was because, of course, we have finally the LG Cup final.
Yes.
Yeah, between Yang Dingxin, who was obviously famously embroiled in some kind of accusation of cheating controversy. He accused Li Hao of cheating with AI, of course, and got banned for 6 months. But he was allowed to play in the LG Cup final and possibly the Jia League. We shall see. And the other finalist is Ding Hao, who's never won an international title. He was born after the year 2000. And, Sinjin So says that Ding Hao is definitely one of the players he does research on from the Chinese scene. So the both are fairly big name players.
Two Chinese players as well, notably.
Yeah. And notably, this is after the Economist magazine have gone on to say how China's completely garbage at Weiqi now because of the COVID situation, and bang, 2 weeks later, there's the whole Chinese final.
Well, obviously the Chinese Weiqi Association read that article and must have contacted the Economist and asked them for advice.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I doubt it, but Gaza, apparently now what we're showing here on screen is game one. Now supposedly Gaza,
Well, game one.
Yeah.
Wait, can we give some context here?
Okay, yeah.
The final is best of 3.
Best of 3, yes.
That's right. And game one was played on the 30th of January. So it was played on the Monday.
Yep.
And these games are 3 hours main time, and I believe it's 5 40-second Byoyomis.
Right. Yes, that's right.
So just wanted to give some context to that.
100%.
And in game one, Ding Hao was white, Yang Dingxin was black.
Black. Yes, that's right. And Gaza, you thought game one was boring.
Well, I followed game one. I had the opportunity of being able to follow it.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I didn't think it was a low quality game, but in terms of excitement, I thought it was fairly lackluster.
Right.
But by no means was it a low quality game. I don't expect every game to be, a blockbuster.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I'm going to put. It's not going to be a nominee for Game of the Year. Let's put it that way.
Right. Now it was definitely obviously a very big game, interesting game. So I try to follow it, watch the streams, and obviously because I couldn't. The only other language I can understand is Chinese, so I tune in to some of the Chinese streams. Now apparently Shanghai Qiyuan, so the Shanghai Go Center or just board game center, they had a stream, and that stream, which kind of surprised me, the viewing figures were like they had more than 100,000 concurrent viewers. Wow, which is quite big, and they're not even an official media organization, and there's probably other people watching. For the other individual streamers, you're probably looking at like 20,000 concurrent viewers, but this one was streamed by Hu Yaoyu, who was one of the 8 Dan, one of the top players, and also he's partnered with like a women player, also a famous one, Wang Xiangyu. So it was a very interesting stream, and even though you thought the stream was boring, I think this is probably one of the most interesting part of the game. this is when Ding Hao clamped, trying to settle this white group. And then Yang Dingxin did something very interesting. So Yang Dingxin as black, he pulled back, and then he Atari'd. Now, I think a lot of players would be thinking, well, this is just really wishful thinking for Ding Hao to connect, because this is just 2 stones. Possibly you don't even have to, care about these 2 stones. And of course, AI also hated this move. And during the stream, Hu Yu just basically criticized this move so much because it doesn't actually do anything. So now supposedly this move is so bad that this black, even if black tries to cut, I believe something like this would work for white. So there's actually no way for black to kind of counter attack. So for example, just really basic. Oh no. Because this Atari is Sente, so this doesn't actually work. So this move was just really, really bad. And some of the commentary says that even an amateur 4-dan wouldn't be making this mistake. But I think this is part of the move that cost Yang Dingxin the game. It was just a move that captures 2 stone that's not really that valuable. And I think if you look at the AI graph, Ding Hao led from beginning to end, and that move just lost Yang Dingxin about 30%. So really, Yang Dingxin just basically didn't really have much of a chance. But the game was close until he made the Atari, but he was always behind. So that's kind of as interesting as game 1 got, and don't think Ding Hao...
The problem was, in my view, I thought that letting white, not getting the more in the top right corner. I think black could have gotten more in the top right corner.
Yeah. So I think what I thought, when I was watching the stream, they were like, maybe this exchange is maybe only slightly bad, not too bad. So maybe when I watched the stream, the pros were recommending this move to get the points here. But obviously that's not what happened. And Ding Hao ended up getting the block here and capturing these black stones. So yeah, Ding Hao's kind of lead is quite big up to this point. Yeah. So yeah, you can see there's a huge difference in terms of points with black kind of almost capturing this white versus white capturing this black. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's as good as it got for game 1 in terms of excitement level. There's some picks in game 1. They have some. I believe this lady here is Li Xiaoxi. He's a famous Chinese player, and that's Hua Xueming, of course. And this is
very famous player. Both of them.
Very famous player.
Yeah.
I believe she's like 7-dan.
Li Xiaoxi?
No, I think Hua Xueming. I think 6 or 7-dan. One of them.
Hua Xueming, I think, is 8-dan.
8-dan. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is Yang Dingxin. It's Ding Hao.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and one thing you notice that they have returned to playing in person. And this is the interesting thing.
Hua Xueming, I think, is 7-dan actually.
Yeah, 7-dan. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So discussing the game after the game. Okay, so that's game 1. Now, there's some picks in game 2. The same people in game 2. So Gaza, shall we quickly have a look at the game, and you tell me which part of the game you found very interesting, because apparently this is a more exciting game for you.
This game was very exciting.
Yeah.
There was, and one other thing to mention is that Michael Redmond was commentating game 2.
Yep.
So he does have a YouTube stream, and I do recommend, if people want an in-depth live analysis in English, to watch that stream. But at times it got so complicated that even Michael Redmond was sometimes misreading the situation. But in this game, they swapped colors. So Ding Hao was black.
Yep.
and Yang Dingxin was white.
Yep.
And that you can see already at this point
Yep.
that you're looking at now, there's been a sort of a interesting situation that's happened in the bottom right corner.
Yep.
White, you can see that collection of stones there, and it looks pretty grim for white.
Mm.
However, there is a ko.
Yep.
White's made a ko. Now, at this point of the game, it seems like if White loses this ko, White loses the bottom right corner and the right side.
Yep.
Which is a pretty huge amount of territory for Black. So what White has done is started to attack the middle left group of Blacks.
Yep.
So now the attention has turned to that group.
Yep.
And White is looking to well, if you look at White's next move, White makes an exchange and then tries to remove basically as much eye space as possible from that Black group.
Yeah.
So then a lot of the next section of the game is Black sort of trying to, live or expose weaknesses in White's surrounding groups. Basically trying to do both of those at the same time. And Black seems to do that quite well.
Yeah.
But the group is, for a long time, the group is never fully alive.
Yeah.
Black's group, that is.
No. Yep. So, Gaza, you're gonna say?
Well, if you keep on going, I'm not sure where you want to start talking about.
Yeah.
points
Now
of the
this
game.
there was a very interesting point in the. I also watched the Shanghai Qiyuan stream. So Gaza, let me know when you want to talk about that. Now maybe we'll clarify the status of the bottom right. So from the commentary I read, basically what happens is I get Black. There's a few ways for Black to play. If Black wants to spend one move here, for example, Black can just do this, and then White can just spend one move to live. Okay, that's one way to play. The other way is for Black to try and kill the corner, but then if White wins this ko, then Black have spent an extra move in here.
Right.
So therefore, White really is kind of just like, I'm not gonna spend a move here unless you want to, and so White kind of has the luxury of waiting when to start this ko. So that
But
was
doesn't Black? But so Black isn't going to fill in the ko right now because even though it's Sente, it's sort of finishing off that position, and Black may want that opportunity later on in the game.
possibly, or maybe Black thought that White would Tanuki now because that's White can kind of think of this as the just a really big Yosei move, and maybe there's like a bigger move elsewhere, maybe potentially. It's difficult. But anyway, so now this is kind of where it got interesting because when I looked at the game, I thought if Black really wanted to live, maybe Black could make a move to live, but Ding Hao didn't really want to live here, and Yang Dingxin maybe senses that he's a bit behind, so he's trying to do this. So something very interesting happens here. Now when Black Atari's here, now apparently even before maybe just around this time, apparently in watching the game live in Shanghai was the famous Rui Nai Wei. He was at the Qiyuan. He was watching the game live, but she was not part of the stream. And apparently she had packed up around this point because she thought the game was over. And we'll see why the game is over and what Ding Hao's issue was. So Ding Hao as Black kind of Atari here, and the idea of course is to squeeze it and kind of make the dumpling shape. But this actually is a big mistake. Instead, Ding Hao could probably have done something like along the lines of just that and just connect. And the difference is that there's one liberty less. And I believe Michael Redman and the Korean stream and the Chinese stream are all showing this particular move, number 5 over here, which supposedly will, if white doesn't try to stop it, then black can connect back. Then of course this black will be safe and doesn't have to spend a move to live here. But if white tries to disconnect, then I think what will happen is that then white, I believe white's got I think it's something like black can connect here, and now if white protects his cut, then black can cut through here. So black really has to protect his cut, and at this point black can just wedge here, and white cannot protect both cuts. So this is game over for white already, just looking at this sequence. Because if you connect here, a cut, this cut doesn't work. But imagine if this liberty was filled in, then obviously this push and cut now works for white. So this liberty here was the main difference.
And that liberty was filled in though.
Yeah. So but that liberty was filled in. So basically, between the Chinese stream, Hu Yaoyu, I believe, around this time was like, oh, when I get stressful, my blood sugar gets low. Does anyone have like a banana or chocolate so I can have a eat? So people have to kind of give him a chocolate, and apparently he went to the backstage to talk to Ray Naiwei, and that's how he found out that Ray was actually already packed up. And when they saw Ding Hao did this before he played this move, then they actually have to put the stones back and continue to watch the game, because otherwise they have thought that if Ding Hao had realized this liberty was so important, then Ding Hao would have not played there and the game would have been over. So this is a big mistake by Ding. And based on the commentary that I read, they said that Ding, after playing this move, feels like Ding is playing erratically for a while, because obviously if you kind of suddenly realize that you have lost an opportunity to win this game very cleanly, then there's your psyche would waver a little bit, and then the Hu Yaoyu was saying he doesn't know whether black wants to go into a capturing race with white, or black would want to live. But then he said, but then Ding finally came to his senses and decided to live, and just live, simply to live. But this is actually a very dangerous choice, because guys, honestly, by the end of the game, there was only a half point in it.
Well, no, the issue, the thing is that black could actually, Michael Redmond, while live commentating, he showed a sequence where black could actually kill white's bottom left group.
Right.
And according to Michael Redmond, he thought that was easier at this point in the game. It was better to do that. He even said something along the lines of, even I could see how to kill white, so it couldn't have been that difficult.
Yeah.
But I think it was move 183.
183, yeah.
That basically, so I think this was basically Ding Hao's choice to let white live.
Yeah. I remember now. I think the Hu Yaoyang stream, they also saw a way to kill white. I believe it was something along the lines of having to is it whose move is this? This is black's move. So black would have to do something like maybe this and this, and now of course white can throw in. Now apparently this move for white is sente somewhat. Um, so and I think it's to do with the life and death of this top white group. So imagine if this was a Sente, say black has to protect somehow, then uh, possibly then what can happen? Utari. Yeah, I can't remember what the sequence was, but there seems to be some RG with this black group over here. It could end up being that this black group or this black group might be in trouble as well. So it was a risk. It was a risk.
I think it was
So
the bottom black group
yeah,
actually.
something like that. So, but anyway, so black decided to let white um live.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, so yeah, but the interesting thing was, yeah, black if black killed white's group here,
mm,
it's game over.
yeah.
So but black Ding Hao made the conscious decision, and at this point both players were either in Byoyomi or very close to it. They may as well have been in Byoyomi at this point.
Right.
But at this point, Ding Hao made the conscious decision to not worry about killing white,
Mm,
just to let everything live.
yeah.
The issue then is that um, Black's lead now was about 3.5 points.
Right.
So Black was still ahead, and people say 3.5 points in a pro game
Mm,
in the end game is virtually insurmountable.
right.
But in practice, even among the top pros, that's not actually true, especially when they're
Yeah.
both in Byoyomi.
Yeah.
It's not like they'll make a move that loses a point
Mm,
and and then another one and then another one. Often it'll be they'll just miss something, and the other player can in a
yeah.
group that should have been dead was meant to live, or a group
Yeah.
that was meant to be alive accidentally dies. It
Yeah.
happens more often than people may think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was now a Yosei battle.
Mm,
Black was still ahead, but you had to wonder whether the fact that Ding Hao let this easier chance of winning
mm.
go by him, maybe nerves were getting to him, and maybe he was going to, would he be able to hold on to the
Yeah.
victory?
And I think the only big part of the board that's still a little bit uncertain is this obviously this code here. So black or white could try to fight this code.
Oh
Um,
yes, the co was still
yeah,
unfinished,
yeah. So
and now, but now at this point, it actually, yeah, the winner of the co ended up being oh well, let's play it out. Let's
yeah,
go through the
so they
moves.
kind of start fighting this code, and it's this code. They kind of fight this code and do the Yosei at the same time. It's kind of like, yeah. So I think this one has to be some Sente somehow. Um, but I obviously didn't remember the exact variation. So they keep
No, but
fighting.
there were some very clever co-threats played here. There was even one where Michael Redmond said it wasn't a co-threat.
Right.
I think it was one of the ones up the top. Michael Redmond said it wasn't a co-threat, and then after a while, he realized it was a co-threat, and
Right.
Black had to respond, and Black did respond in the game, and Michael Redmond pointed out, well, I
Mm,
would have lost the game there.
yeah.
So
Now,
yeah.
now, apparently, because actually the game was actually relatively close in Yosei, and obviously this black move here, when white responds, actually loses black some point because imagine if black didn't have to fight the code, then black could have like maybe done something like this, and maybe something like this. So black could have gotten some of the points here, I believe. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, but by playing here, I think black will lose some points. So it feels like Ding Hao is very desperate to win this co. But I think the advantage of this is this kind of creates at least one other co threat. But obviously AI didn't like this move. But I think by this point, I imagine it's like I would have no idea how to even assess it. I kind of have to do a very detailed count to see, and even then I may not be know who's ahead. So yeah, I think unless you have AI, it's really difficult to tell.
Yeah, yeah. I remember watching this, like
Yeah,
I was following this with Cardigo because
yeah,
I'm too bad at Go
yeah,
to really have any sort of interesting gauge. And I remember this move being played, and the AI just went to like 50%, and I'm
yeah.
like, and I still don't really understand why that was the case.
Mm.
Um, why this is all of a sudden an even game now, but yeah, apparently this lost a couple of points,
Yeah,
and Black even so as you can see, Black actually finishes off the ko.
yeah,
Um, and I said that was actually earlier on the game. If I said that if Black ended up winning this ko, it was basically curtains for White. But
yeah,
as this game progressed, that the status of this ko and the importance of it sort of changed.
yeah.
So even though Black won this ko, now the game is very different. But here is where Yang Dingxin makes the losing move.
Yes. Now I have to say at this point of the game, it's it's probably only like a point or a half a point between the two players. So it's purely Yosei. It's purely calculation. And supposedly Yang Dingxin played here, which, if you ask me, I would have thought it's a pretty decent normal move because I think imagine if White didn't play there, then obviously Black gets to Hane and Hane again, and the difference is huge. The difference is huge. Uh, but then after doing this, Black of course has to live, to attach and live. So I if this was my game, I probably would have played here as well, and but apparently that was actually not as good as this one recommended. Sorry, this move
Yep,
which is
that
recommended
move.
by AI.
Yeah.
And I looked at the Wang Hao Yang Hu Yao Yu's commentary. He said that this move is actually okay because what happened in the game was Yang played here and then Ding Hao did a Sente move and then got here, and then he played here. He had to finish this off, and therefore this move for White actually is Sente, but this is after doing Sente. There's no more big moves there, and he let Black have about 5 points here, more than the other variation. And there's no other big Yosei on the board where White could have gotten that 5 points disadvantage back. I think the biggest move was 4 points or something. So in effect, he's lost 1 point. And
So yeah, so the fact that he got Sente isn't really
yeah,
that great
yeah, yeah,
if the moves he can get are
yeah.
smaller than what he's lost here.
Correct. So therefore, if there were actually the board was actually a bit more open, there's more Yosei moves elsewhere, then this actually could have been the better choice. But
Right.
it just so happens that in this one, apparently this Kosumi here is actually earns slightly more points. I think the difference, I do believe, is only 1 point, but that was enough to swing the AI from 50% to 90% for Ding Hao. That's 1 point difference, which is
Yes,
crazy to me. Yeah.
and Ding Hao didn't relinquish
Uh,
his advantage
yeah.
at this point. Some the Yosei from the end, the moves from here on out were more or less
Optimal
flawless. Yes.
for Yosei. So, but anyway, despite that, guess what? Ding Hao only won by half a point, I believe.
Yes, I believe he. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but sometimes when you win by half a point, you're actually you're ahead by a couple of points,
Yeah.
and you play safer moves that sacrifice
Right.
1 point. But I don't think. Yeah, but it was strange. It was weird that he could have ended up winning by like 20 points or something like that.
Right.
And he went for what he felt was the safer option, just letting everything live.
Yeah.
And the safer option ended up being a half-point win.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so quite this ended up being a bit of a fascinating game,
Yes.
in my opinion. And yeah, Ding Hao didn't let the nerves get to him after, seemingly letting a simple win slip
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
He managed to hold his nerves and defeat Yang Dingxin.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, Gaza, it's very very interesting. You said you talk about his nerves, but I had some I watched his post game interview. There was some very interesting thing he had to say, and the one about nerves was that after the game when he was giving the interview, he just looked like this. He wasn't even like excited, happy, or anything. And so he said, "Oh, I really tried to be happy, but I just couldn't get myself to be happy at this point." And I really have no idea why that is. Because you just won the world major, your first, the first Chinese player born after the year 2000 to win a world major, but he said he just couldn't get himself to be happy. Now this is very, I thought very strange. I'm not sure it's because he's that's his personality, or he just maybe a bit emotionless, whatever.
I
It's
think
so,
that's just how. I think that's just how. He's probably just tired.
right, yeah. Yeah, so that's and then there's a couple of things that he thought was that he said that was quite interesting. Obviously, he mentioned his Asian game selection, where I believe he went 1-8, so he came dead last and didn't make the Asian game squad
Yeah.
for China. He mentioned that as a bit of a disappointment, and he recounted a little bit about how he had learned Weiqi, but basically, apparently, his dad was a Weiqi fan, and he started playing. He started teaching him around 5 or 6. He probably just improved so quickly that at the age of 7, his dad decided to send him to a Weiqi class, a proper Weiqi class, and when he got there, he apparently became the best player in his city very quickly. So he had to move to the provincial capital, which is Taiyuan. He's from the Shanxi province, and very quickly, after 2 years, he's no longer have any no opponents in Taiyuan, which is the provincial capital. So he had to
What
go to,
he killed them all.
yeah, no, wow, he was better than them. Then he had to go to Beijing. Now apparently his family is not rich at all, so therefore the fees the fees to learn Weiqi in Beijing, of course, is very expensive. Everything's more expensive, and he said this was a huge gamble for them. And apparently he also said that he tried for the pro exam 3 times, and the third time was basically when they were decided that if he didn't make it this time, he would go back to school and just forget about professional Weiqi. But in the last game of the pro exam, he managed to reverse the game, and that's how he became pro. And he's now, a world champion. And his father also posted a blog and says how unbelievable this whole journey was, because when he taught his son how to play Go, he had not even thought about anything about like being a professional Go player, and now his son is what do you call it, a world champion. And I think there was also one part of the interview that was very interesting, where he said, where the reporter was asking him, like what do you think the secret is? What is the secret to your success? And he said, oh, maybe my secret is that I'm very focused. And then after saying a few more sentences, he said, oh yeah, unlike some others who are maybe have no branched out into other things. So I don't know if he's talking about Koji or not, but I bet the people listening to the interview would be thinking that he's talking about Koji and having a little bit of a dig at Koji, but I don't know.
Well, it's worth pointing out that Ding Hao was one of the few people that seemed to not be involved in the Yang Dingxin saga.
Right, yeah.
In terms of making any sort of comment or liking any posts or anything.
No, yeah.
So it seems like, yes, I'm not sure if there's anything to say on that, but yeah, he seemed to have been very focused on this final, whereas Yang Dingxin may have been a little bit distracted.
Yeah.
Yang Dingxin himself is a former LG Cup champion. He hasn't just made the final. He's actually won it in the past.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he wasn't at his best this time around, which is quite disappointing, because as has been mentioned in the comments, his win in the semi-final was against Shinjinso, and it was one
Yeah,
of the best games. One of the best.
yeah,
It's definitely one of the best games he's ever played.
yeah,
And that's saying a lot for someone of Yang Dingxin's, pedigree.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Of course, the
but
Yang Dingxin versus Shinjin So game was a classic, and we have here the knockout charts for both players. Yeah,
mm,
yeah. Uh, so yeah, of course, Ding Hao didn't have to beat Shinjin So, and because this is the LG Cup, remember the format was some players start in the round of 16, and that's where I believe is that where Ding Hao started? Yes, Ding Hao started in the round of 16.
yeah, Ding Hao was a seed.
Seed, yeah,
Yang Dingxin was also a seed,
yeah,
as yes, one of
yeah,
the top players
yeah,
in China.
yeah. Yeah. So Ding Hao beat Kim Ji Sok, then beat Kim Ming Hyun, and then beat Kang Dong Yun, and then that's how he made the final. Actually, I forgot to say one thing that was very interesting in Ding Hao's final. He said, "Oh, it doesn't feel very hard to win a world major because he only has to play obviously 3 games to make the final." He said one of the online comps he won was a lot harder because he had to win 10 games in a row to even win that comp. So, yeah. Oh wow.
Well, I mean, it is. Well, I think he's. It's easy to say that after you've won a major,
Yeah.
but yeah, it is quite difficult to win a major. Some players don't even get to, some really strong players don't even get to make a final.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully Ding Hao, this is the start of a level of consistency for Ding Hao that we didn't really see 12 months ago.
Yeah.
When we thought that he may be the next person to challenge Shinjin So
Yeah.
as the world number one. Maybe we might see the return of that.
Yeah.
Ding Hao, I think that would be great for Weiqi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Sinjin So in a number of interviews have said that Ding Hao is the player he keeps an eye on in China, and of course Sinjin So already has 4 international titles, but Ding Hao has only just begun to get his first. So yeah, we shall see what's going to happen. It will be a very interesting battle, given that Kerje is already past his prime.
Well, it's hard to say,
Yeah.
but Kerje doesn't seem to be. Well, I mean, in my opinion, Kerje doesn't seem to have the motivation at the moment
Yeah.
to try and get back to the top spot.
Yep.
But things can change. We know how good he is, but Ding Hao for now is the star of the moment.
Yep. Definitely start from the moment.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
We knew he was good enough to win a world title, and now he's finally won one.
Yep. So now that we have LG Cup returning to play in real life.
Oh wait, one thing. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. One thing I also wanted to quickly mention is that the final was actually played over the board.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I assumed they were going to play on computers, even though they were both in China, and that was because the rest of the earlier rounds were all played on computers.
Yeah.
But that ended up not being the case. They were played it over the board, and
yeah,
I think that was. I'm not sure if that was because of, an aftermath of the cheating accusations, or if they just wanted to get back to over the board play. But yeah, it was interesting to see that they're playing over the board.
Yeah, probably the latter because in China they've relaxed the COVID restrictions a lot now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so therefore we might see the In Cup final being played this year. So let's see. Let's see. Now Gaza, it's from one big international title to a major title in Japan. In fact, the biggest of them all, Kisei, uh, we talked about it last week, and Kisei game 3, day 1, has just finished. Maybe a couple of hours
Oh,
ago,
we're halfway through
halfway through.
game 3 of the
Yeah,
Kisei. Very interesting.
yes. So of course
So
we know
this one is Shibano
Shibano as black.
versus Shibano Toramaru,
Yeah,
the challenger, versus the current Kisei, Ichiriki Ryo.
yep.
It's one apiece
One
after
piece.
after 2 games.
Yep,
So this is game 3.
yep.
Now let's have a look at this one.
Let's have a look at this one. So of course this is only day 1. So I think up to here it's pretty normal. Maybe this Kema is maybe less common, but I guess it's okay. And Shibano doesn't joke around, does he? He just went straight for the vital point. And that kind of starts a fight. Now there was a news article in Japan about their game. I believe it was about their game 2, and the title of the article was, I think it was like they love to fight all the time, or they'll never give up a chance to fight. And I think we this is kind of reflected here as well. The title is like, no matter when it is, these two would always love to fight. So I think and true to that, they have started this massive fight in the game two as well.
I felt that black seemed to be more interested in fighting than white.
Right.
But
Definitely, yeah.
Just from the moves, but then then white sort of got a bit aggressive as well. This was interesting. Neither player really cares about getting 2 eyes at the moment.
No.
And then I found move 51 to be interesting.
51. Yep.
Yeah, it seems very dangerous to push along from above the 2 stones.
Yeah.
Rather than below, because those 2 stones don't seem to be in a very good place. But
so like, guys, I haven't read this through, but I'm now wondering, what if white Atari's here now?
Or even just descend.
Just
instead of
Atari.
extend.
But I think maybe Atari first, and then just Hane. What happens now?
Fine.
What happens now? Like, obviously, I don't know. I don't think black can do anything like this. Obviously, that's too tight on liberties. Yeah, just not enough liberties. I do wonder what happens now. Is it like this?
I mean, I think so. White doesn't die, but black gets a wall,
right?
So, and like black can push all the way down to the first line,
right?
So then push, and
I'm not sure if this is a good idea for black, because it obviously very tight on liberties. But maybe I would, maybe like this. I'm not sure. Of course, white would be unconditional.
No. Right? Push down to the first line. Oh,
you mean extend? Like this?
No, not yet. No. No. So play 6 where you already played it. And then push down to the first line. Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
Connect.
And then push down under 2. Play under move 2.
Yeah. Just Atari.
Yeah.
And like, you're not gonna do this, right?
And why don't you no. Well, okay, you could, or you could Atari 3, yeah. And then so then black,
No,
that's all right.
Yeah. I think it's all right, but I think if you want to do that, I think it just you don't have to do that. You can save that as a code thread later on, this kind of thing. But anyway, I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, they extend. Who's this? This is Ichiriki extend. So this is a crazy fight over here. It's kind of crazy. But
it ends up being okay for black.
Yeah.
And then apparently this next move here is not so great.
Yeah. Now let me look at
With the K.
what AI recommends. AI recommends just simply blocking and then let black Atari out and just white, yeah, just settle down here. Yeah, okay. So I think that's already beginning to be very hard for me to understand. But whatever it is, they just decide to fight it out over here. And apparently AI just hated black's choice of letting
So
white capture
yeah,
this.
yeah. So black sacrifices those 3 stones,
Yeah,
and then at move 69, so black is basically surrounding that white
yeah,
group, and that white group is probably going to die.
yes.
Now, now we thought this actually doesn't look that bad for black.
No.
The thing is, the white's group is at in the bottom is no longer in trouble.
Right. Yep.
It's completely alive. It's
Yep.
100% alive,
Yep.
and white has Sente.
Yes.
And now the AI, for some now, this looks playable for black, but the AI has it at 90% for white.
Yes.
90% in white's favor. Now, I think that that's a little bit misleading.
Right.
In my opinion, I think that's a little bit misleading.
Yeah.
Um, in that I don't genuinely think that Ichiriki at this point has a 90% chance of winning the game.
No.
I think the game is still very playable for black.
Yes.
Because well, the fact that white has Sente is quite big,
Mm.
but there's still a lot to play for, and
Yeah.
like black's 2 stones in the upper left can be quite annoying and
Yeah.
can make trouble. But I think that basically if they don't,
Mm.
if Shibano isn't able to get something useful out of those 2 black stones, then yes,
Mm.
black is in a lot of problems.
Yes.
Now,
Um.
white plays a very good move here with his Sente.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so then the next 20 moves are basically in this area of the board.
Yeah. Now, Gaza Jifan move 71 very interesting.
Find it a little bit confusing
Yeah.
because I would have thought that I don't really understand the purpose of it.
Yeah. Okay. I I also find it very interesting. I'm just wondering if black is Shibano is scared of something like this, maybe like maybe why can sorry, what am I done? Yeah. So like just imagine black play elsewhere. Like, is this even possible for white? Like this? So imagine, and then white has to connect here. Or maybe white can Atari here. And then like this. So I'm not sure what Shibano is trying to protect, to be honest, 100%.
Yeah, I just don't. I think even I just don't think there's black has the time to make a move,
Yeah.
a reinforcing move
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
it seems quite bizarre for Shibano to play. Shibano doesn't seem like the type of person to play a slow move like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not. Yeah. So I'm not 100% sure exactly. Yeah. What it's doing. Maybe it can see. It saw something here that I didn't see. But anyway, I thought it was very interesting move 71. So anyway, they keep. So now Shibano have gone. I don't know what you call this. I try to go behind enemy lines. It's like.
yeah, he's committing to it. He can't afford to give away those 2 stones.
Right. So obviously they fight this crew, and then Shibano ended up sealing everything, all of the white groups in, but white ended up connecting the code, and then Shibano played 1889, which could just be a probe to see how white responds, and white blocks here, and Shibano submitted the sealed move, and that
Yeah,
was
so
the end of day one.
that's the end of day one, not
Yeah,
move 90. So
yeah,
Shibano has submitted move 91.
yeah.
We don't know what it is,
We
obviously.
don't
It
know
will
what it
be
is.
revealed in about 12 hours,
Yep,
at which point the game will continue.
yep.
Now, on my Cardigo,
Yeah.
I have white at 96%,
Right. Yeah.
which again I don't think is a good reflection of the status of the game. I think it's a bit closer than that.
Right.
I think black has a bit more of a chance than that, but it does depend on these stones in the top left.
Mm.
At the moment, they're looking quite. It's not looking good.
They look pretty dead to me. Maybe just some minor
They
RG.
they don't they don't look they look to be in a bit of trouble. And
Mm.
if they're able to, if Shibano is able to squeeze something out of these stones,
Yep.
something useful,
Mm.
then it's game. I think the game's back on.
Yep. Uh,
But
but looking very unlikely if you ask me.
the thing is, even if it does live, if it's probably that it's probable that Ichiriki is going to allow them to live at a cost.
Yes.
Um, so
Yeah.
I think that's the problem here. For sure, white is ahead,
Mm.
um, but I wouldn't say that it's complete. Black is completely screwed. But
Yeah.
what do you think the sealed move is?
I honestly would find it very hard to guess because I suspect this 89 is just a probe and see how Rishiku respond, and then Shibano's gonna
Okay.
Tenuki
Well,
Tenuki.
I'm going to I can't I'm not really good at guessing Tanukis, but so I'm going to guess a local move. I'm
Right.
going to say that Shibano's going to pull back from from his last stone. Yeah, there.
Like that.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Okay. Yeah. I I honestly don't know if that's gonna work. But I really honestly have to count. I don't know where is the biggest move. Like maybe because I'm thinking maybe like white can come into here next. So I find it annoying. So maybe I would want to build as big a moyo as I can. So what about something like this? Giving up the corner and then I'll try to build a bigger moyo as big as I can and just use it as an RG later on. Maybe I'm not sure. But my guess would be Shibano trying to build a moyo somehow.
Yes,
Maybe
maybe. Yeah,
we
I
shall
really don't know.
we shall see.
It's just I don't I think that exchange like the exchange 71 and 72.
Yeah,
I don't think that helped Black at all.
right.
Um, if you go
71,
back,
71, 72.
yeah,
Oh yeah, that one. These two.
yeah, because I mean, allowing White to play that stone is
Mm.
not is not making things easier for Black's top left group.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Um, yeah. I maybe I just missed the meaning of this. Yeah, but interesting one. Perhaps Black thought that this could expose a weakness in White somewhere here if White is not careful, but really I'm not sure. Yeah. So
yeah,
okay, that's Kisei game 3 day 1. We'll see what the result is tomorrow. Now Gaza, s-
wait a
shall
sec.
we
We do have a suggestion for
right
of a sealed move L6.
L6 L6 where would that be L6
I'm not sure.
L6 capping, yeah, like that, somewhere around here.
Okay, that's a
That
big Moyo move.
that is possible. I get my guess. My question is, what happens if White plays here? Is can Black even seal it in? Not sure. It does seem dangerous. But anyway, that could be. Yeah, I can only think of the Moyo and as kind of a viable strategy. I don't think in terms of points, the corners are gone. It's not much Shibano can do unless there's some magical move here, which I really don't see happening. But anyway, so that's the suggestion. Yep. So, Gaza, shall we shall we stay in Japan and quickly cover another big game, but maybe just one step down from the Kisei final, which is the 61st Judan Challenger final between Shibano Toramaru and Iyama Yuta.
Yes. Now this was the game of the week for me.
Yeah, 100%. Yes.
This is the game to determine who is the challenger for
Yep.
the Judan, one of the
Yep.
major titles in Japan. Now the current Judan is Su Shawan,
Yep.
who's won it twice, 2 years in a row now.
Mm.
And the challenger final, as you said, is between Shibano Toramaru, the current Meijin,
Yep.
and Iyama Yuta,
Mm.
who everyone knows who Iyama Yuta is.
Yep.
Um, now, this is a one-game challenger final.
Mm.
So they just play one game, and whoever wins that is the challenger.
Yep.
And Iyama was black,
Yep.
and Shibano was white. And the game, so there was, I mean, the game, there was, obviously there was, the game has a start, middle, and end, but we're really looking, the interesting part of this game, or the really interesting part of this
Yeah.
game is more towards the end.
Yeah.
And it's a big fight in the upper right corner.
Mm.
Now, at this point of the game, I believe it's very close.
Mm.
I'm not entirely sure who is winning, and maybe the players don't know who's ahead at this point either.
Yep. Hard to tell. Yep.
So they have to make a decision. So basically, White has to make a decision.
Mm.
Do I play safe and either hope I'm winning or try and catch up in Yosei?
Mm.
Or do I go for broke
Yeah.
and invade the top right corner?
Yeah.
Now, when it may not be necessary. Now, White is Shibano, so
Yep.
you may, if you know Shibano's style, you know that he's more of a risk taker.
Mm.
And yeah, black. So black's move 181.
Mm. 81.
Move 181.
Yeah, this one. Yes.
Yeah, it was a bit of an interesting move, that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this seemed to it seemed like this at this move Shibano thought that now is the time to try and do some damage.
Yes.
In the
Now,
top right corner.
Gaza, I just want to just have a guess at Yama's psychology here, because as you mentioned, the game is fairly close, even though AI says that Shibano's this move is maybe not the optimal one. AI wants Shibano to just play here once and then just start taking Yosei. So, but obviously Shibano doesn't want to give black that easy of a roll, so Shibano push here. Again, at this point, I guess Yama has at least two other choices, like like a wimpy one and just go extend. That will have no RG, obviously. And AI recommends this one. I think also this one has less RG, but I think this is Shibano's intention. Like if Yama blocks here, then Shibano maybe can play here or play the clamp or whatever. So Yama probably not a big fan of that. Yama, because he's not sure who's winning, he decides to go for broke and just block here to get the maximum amount of points from this local area. But that's what triggered Shibano's counterattack, Gaza. And I found this to be very extraordinary, what Shibano has done here, because either Shibano's read very deeply or he decided to go for a really big gamble, because he didn't start anywhere near here. He started on the other side of the board. He started over here.
Yes.
Yeah. Guys, I did not like study this sequence very seriously. But I don't know if there's any other moves you wanted to focus on. Is it this one that you wanted to talk about?
Yes, it was. Yeah, that move there. So that was I thought this was the most fascinating move
Right.
of the entire game because black can just cut those two stones off,
Correct. Yes.
and in fact, black does indeed do that.
Yes.
So Shibano's either read this very
Mm.
deeply,
Yes.
like, or he's just yeah. I really don't know because
Yeah.
like it doesn't look good for those two white stones. They just
Yeah.
don't seem to have enough liberties. But Shibano, um, yeah, like we see that Shibano's just playing. It almost seems like desperation,
Yeah.
um, trying to make just trying to play around with co-threats
Yeah.
and capturing races and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and just making a big mess uh, in this upper right corner, just total chaos.
Yeah.
Um,
But but he, this like before this was all blacks.
yes,
And
yes. Before it was all blacks. Now,
yeah,
now there's actually Shibano somehow managed to manufacture a co.
out of like pretty much nothing. Out of just maybe potentially Yama overplaying a little bit, just trying to get extra couple of points here.
There was actually an interesting
Yeah.
it was actually an interesting point. If you go back to move 207,
207, yep. Yep,
there was
207.
there was actually a point there where Shibano could have actually
Yeah.
won the game.
Yeah.
Um, Instead of playing that move,
Yeah.
if he Atari'd the three black stones in that triangle.
Atari. Yep.
No, to the right. Go to the right.
To the right. Atari.
Yeah, there.
Atari here.
That's the Tesuji.
Right. And
So if
Atari.
yeah, and then you can Atari again.
Throw in.
Yeah, throw in.
Okay. Okay. Say I take.
Okay, and then you descend.
Descend.
You play at the 4-2 point. You play at the 4-2 point.
4-2 point. This is white's turn. You mean here?
Yes.
Okay. So say I take. You Atari again, and then say I take.
Okay. Then you take the one stone.
Yeah.
No, not there. Lower and to the left. No, go down, go down,
Yeah.
go down. Yeah, that column. No, that column.
Okay.
Move your cursor down.
Down. Yeah. Down is in what? Down.
Yeah, no, yeah. That one stone below.
This one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of like a complicated. It's very tight on liberties, and
It's very complicated, but
black's probably in trouble somehow.
no. Well, no. The thing is, black. Wait, why is there's a stone missing? That black group should be an Atari.
Yeah, maybe right here, and then
Yeah.
maybe at this point.
Yeah, no, at that point you play there. Yeah, at that point that's
Okay.
where you would instead of
So this is the sequence recommended by AI. So Atari. So actually, maybe black doesn't even dare to connect. You have to take, and then Atari, and then Atari, and Atari, and ends up with a massive co.
Yeah, but it's not good for black.
Right, because black either loses this group or
But
something happens here.
it's hard to see. It's hard to see because
Yeah.
it's still a co.
Yeah.
So I can understand why Shibano missed that.
Yeah. But whatever Shibano did, like it's just manufacturing a co out of nothing. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
I suspect either he had a very deep reading or he just instinctively understood that yeah, something is there, and I should
I
go
think
for it.
this was just instinct, and
Right.
fair credit to him for his fighting spirit, because
Yeah.
this was really fun to watch.
Yeah. It was just crazy stuff. And
And yeah, and in the end, Iyama ended up cracking.
yeah.
Um, I'm really not sure what went wrong, because I think Black should have. I think there were times when Black could have captured the ko.
Right.
Um, let me see. So yeah, so I think move 250, 257.
Yeah. So at this point, Black should probably finish off the co, and then White can maybe
Yes,
descend.
yes. Black should just finish off the ko. Black has enough points.
Yeah.
But obviously Iyama, like, it must have been Byoyomi, and Iyama
Yeah.
didn't count.
Yeah. It's very hard to
Yeah,
count, I guess. At this
but
point.
Black can actually sacrifice where he ended up connecting. Black could have sacrificed those stones,
Yeah.
um, but he didn't. And in the end,
Yeah. Black ended up losing this whole corner here,
yes,
and yeah, I think it ended up just
Black ended up losing the corner. No, and so no, so what ended up happening? White gave up the bottom left. I
yeah
mean, the bottom right. I
right
mean,
yeah
no, Black. No, oh no, sorry. Black won the ko.
mm,
Yeah, no, that's what you were saying. Sorry.
yeah
Ignore me. Yeah. So
yeah
Black had to sacrifice the bottom right to
yeah
win the ko.
yeah
To win the ko in the top right.
yeah
So yeah, so White did all that invasion in the top right,
mm,
and what he got out of it was the bottom right corner.
yeah
And when he should have gotten nothing,
yeah
right?
yeah
He should have gotten nothing
yeah
from that invasion. He ended up getting the bottom right corner, and that
yeah.
was enough to
And
reverse the game.
that was that was a crazy reversal.
Brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's just a brilliant game. I do feel bad for Iyama. I wouldn't say that, like, the reversal wasn't like a simple mistake or anything. It was a very complex
Yeah
co-fight where he probably was in Byoyomi, and he didn't have the time to see when
mm,
to complete the ko, when to finish the optimal time to finish off the ko was.
yeah
And in the end, it cost him a corner
yeah
and the game,
yeah
and a chance
to challenge Shishawan.
to challenge for the Judan.
Yeah. So wow.
So yeah, but yeah, a thoroughly great game,
Yeah
and full credit to Shibano for his fighting spirit. That
yeah
he deserves to challenge for the Judan,
mm.
and I think that the Judan should be not too far away.
Yeah, I mean I didn't look up the times, but it should be happening soon.
Yes, but I'm always a big. People may know that I'm a bit of a fan of Su
Shishawan.
Wan.
Yeah, I think you did say he's your favorite player.
I think I would say he's my favorite player from Japan.
Right.
Yes, but yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the way that Shibano has played
Mm.
recently, and especially in this game,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some really exciting games in this
Yeah.
Judan.
Yeah. Some very interesting stuff. Now, Gaza, I do feel like we should stay in Japan, and even though Shibano's in such hot form, he missed out on the Kito Awards. Gaza.
Oh, what are the
No.
Kito Awards?
Now, I'm not sure if I've even translated this right, but you know how there's a title called Kisei? So obviously, Ki is just a board game. It means Kito would just be like, in Japanese Shinto, like the Taoism, the way,
Mhm.
the way of the way of Chi. So that's apparently this is the 56th edition of it, and it's basically run by this magazine. I believe the name of the magazine is translated as Monthly Ego World. It's published by Nihon Kiin. Now, in this award, which I believe is an annual award, Iyama Yuta won the most outstanding player. And
Nice.
very nice. And basically, apart from the most outstanding player, they also have an award called outstanding player, and that went to Ichiriki Ryo. So no Shibano, and they have this rookie award. I guess rookie may not be the best translation, because rookie does give the connotation that this guy was just new, like new this year. I think it's more like a new player, young player award. They went to Otake Yu, who you may remember beat Fujisawa Arena to make the Honimbo League or Meijin League, one of the two. Yeah, so and he's done quite well. Best women player went to Fujisawa Arena for holding the women Honimbo title and women Meijin. It have
interesting.
Yeah. So international achievement went to Ueno Asami, who won the Senko Cup international version.
Well, that makes sense. She was the only Japanese player to win an international tournament.
Correct. By the way, Otake Yu made the Honimbo League. Yep. And most wins went to Ueno Asami. She apparently had 54 wins and 22 losses. That's actually quite a good record. And this one is surprising to me. The best win rate, Koeki Yoshihiro. And he also played in the Team Japan in the Korean League. Apparently his win rate was the best, at 75%. Now, to put it into context, Shinjin Soi's win rate, sometimes it goes as high as 88%. So, yeah. But still, 75% is nothing to shout at. This is probably like Lee Sedol's career win percentage kind of thing.
No, it's actually around about Shinjin So's career win rate.
Right. Yeah.
That's very high. 75% is very high.
Very high, yes.
Yeah.
And the most consecutive wins went to Xu Chaiyuan, your favorite player, for 16 wins. Apparently, it happened between Jan of last year to April.
That's a lot of consecutive wins.
That's a lot. And the most games apparently was Ueno Asami. So Ueno Asami won 2 awards, which is actually not bad.
She won 3 awards.
Yes, 3 actually, 3. So yeah, so very good.
But yeah, she had a hell of a year.
Yep.
Yeah,
Now,
good for her.
Yeah. So that's the Japan awards, and maybe Gaza, let's finish off the Japan. We got Fujita Reo, who you may remember as the youngest ever pro. He became pro, I believe, at 9 years 4 months. He's now 9 years and 9 months, and he's finally won his first official game.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, very nice. He beat Yoshitaka Yoshikubu, a Kansai King 9-dan player. I honestly have never heard of him. But apparently he's 76 years old. But Fujita have won the game, and he beat the record held by Nakamura Sumire for winning a game, because Nakamura Sumire won a game at 10 years 4 months. So Fujita have become the youngest ever Japanese to win an official game in Japan. But I think there may be younger players in China who have done it. Maybe, for example, Yang Dingxin.
I would have thought maybe Yang Dingxin.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if any of them were younger when they beat a 9-dan.
Right.
However much importance he placed on the fact that he beat a 9-dan.
Yeah.
So he may be the youngest ever to beat a 9-dan.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes, it's good to see that he's won a game. I was curious if he was just all hype, but no, he can actually beat pro players now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A very nice Tsuji at the end of this game to force the resignation.
Yep.
And yes, good start. It's always good to get your first win, I'm sure.
Yeah.
First of many.
Yeah. So apparently he's. I just read this article. Apparently he overtook Yang Dingxin. So Yang Dingxin must have been in 3rd spot in terms of youngest. Now apparently the number 1 and number 2 in terms of having won games at the youngest were, drum rolls, Cho Han-hyun and Chang Hao. Cho Han-hyun and Chang Hao both won official games under the age of 9 years and 7 months. So crazy stuff.
Both won games under 9 years 7 months.
Yes. Oh yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
the one pro game. So yeah, someone asked us to turn off our Discord notification. So let's see if I have them open. Yes, I'll turn them off. Apologies. And yeah, so that's it. That's all the news from Japan. But we may have some news about Japan from elsewhere. But let's see. So Gaza, from a young player to a veteran, Park
Yes.
Junghwan. What's happened today,
Oh, we've got
Gaza?
some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Park Junghwan has recorded his 1,000th professional win.
Yep.
He is the 16th player from Korea to do so.
Right.
And I believe he's also he would be the 46th player
Right.
from all countries, I
Right.
think. Hot on the heels of his very close friend Kang
Kang.
Dong-yoon,
Yep.
who recorded 1,000 wins maybe a couple of weeks ago. His 1,000th win was today. It was in the semi-final of the KBS Cup.
Yep.
He beat An Sung-joon.
Very nice.
So he's made the final of the KBS Cup, and also scored his 1,000th win while doing so. Very impressive. He's not even. Most of the other 1,000 win players we've talked about have been players in their 50s and 60s.
Yep.
Who are at the tail end of their career and just accumulating wins here and there. Park Junghwan is still very much in his prime.
Yep.
He won the Samsung Cup about 15 months ago.
Nice.
And he's not even 30 yet. He turns 30, I think, in December.
Okay.
So to get 1,000 wins in your 20s, that's quite insane.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, I think he's been a pro for about 16 years.
Right.
So that's an average of over 60 wins per year for 16 straight years. And you just mentioned it, in Japan, you can't even, you don't even get, it's not really even possible to get that many wins.
No.
Yuno Asami had the most wins and she only had 54.
Yep.
Park Junhwan's averaging more than that over his whole career.
Yep.
In Korea, it's just the number of games in Korea is just insane.
Yep, insane.
But still, that's still no lesser a feat to get 1,000 wins. It's very, very impressive, and especially to get it so quickly. 16th player in Korea to get it, and he's going to get many, many more.
Yep. So as you mentioned, he's still number 3 in Korea. So yeah.
He's won 8. He's got a record of 8-2 this year so far. 8 wins, 2 losses, and his career win rate is 73%, which is one of the highest.
Yep. Very nice.
Yeah, really top player. Just to go over some of his accomplishments, he's won 34 championships.
Yep.
Domestic and international combined, 34, 17 runner-ups. His biggest accomplishments, he won the very last Fujitsu Cup. He's won the LG Cup, the Samsung Cup, the Chunlan Cup, and the M. Lily Cup. Nobody else. Those 4 are all active tournaments, and nobody else has won all 4.
Right.
Only Park Junhwan. He also won the. There was a tournament called the World Professional Go Championships.
Yep.
Run by Japan. They ran it 3 times. 2017, 2018, and 2019, I believe. And Park Junhwan won all 3 editions of those.
Yep.
He also won, I believe he's won the Asian TV Cup. I'll just quickly check if he has. He's won the Kuksu Mountains International Tournament. He's won a lot of titles.
Yep.
Um, yeah, really, really accomplished player. He hasn't actually won the Asia TV Cup. My mistake.
Yep.
But
He has
yeah,
won the Asian Games.
oh yeah, he won the Asian Games. He won two gold medals at the Asian Games, one in pair go
Mm.
and one in the team event. And
Right.
that he was only 17 at the time.
Yep.
So got his military. He got his military exemption at 17 years old.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, what a player.
Yeah.
Mm.
And for some reason, Park Junghwan reminds me of a famous footballer who had just recently passed away, Pele. And I believe in an interview uh, for Pele when he had scored 1,200 goals, a reporter asked Pele, of all the goals you have scored, which one was the most beautiful, the best? And Pele responded, the next one. So Park Junghwan will be playing his next game tomorrow in the Jia League. So let's see if he can make his 1,001st win tomorrow. That will be a very interesting one.
Yes, yes.
Gaza. Now, shall we move on to look at the Korean Baduk League?
Oh wait, someone mentioned Hannah Morales
Yeah.
mentioned that Park Ji-won also made the In Cup final
Oh
twice in a
yes,
row.
twice in a row, and failing to win.
Unfortunately, he lost both times. Yes.
Yes.
Um,
To Fan Yu and
Tang
Tang
Wei-jing.
Wei-shin. Yeah.
But moving on from Park Ji-won,
Mm-hmm.
let's go on to the Baduk League.
Baduk League.
Now, again, we're not going to go over every match in detail, but there are a couple of things I want to mention. In particular, Japan and Taiwan's performance. Now, on the last podcast, I'm not sure if we covered well, actually, we should mention, of course, the Baduk League is happening right now.
Yes.
I'm going to post a link in the chat so people can watch it if they want to watch that instead or at the same time as this podcast. I do highly recommend that you watch the Baduk League.
Yep.
It's on Baduk TV. You should also subscribe to that.
Yep.
But last week, when we hosted this podcast, Japan was playing. Team Japan was playing, and we did mention that they'd lost. I do recall mentioning that they'd lost the first two games. It turned out they lost all of their games.
Yep.
So they lost 4-0 to Team Baduk Mecca.
Yep.
So obviously a disappointing performance. I believe actually we did end up seeing that they lost all four of those games. Actually, wait, when did we record the podcast? We recorded on Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that had already happened.
Yeah.
So on Saturday, Team Kicks was playing Korea Zinc. Now, so I do recall mentioning this one. When we left the podcast, I think it was 2-0 to Korea Zinc. So Team Kicks had to win the last two boards 3 and 4 because it's 4 boards.
Yeah.
So if a team wins 3 of them, then they've won the match. So Korea Zinc won the first 2. Park Jin-sol and Shin Jin-son on Team Kicks, they ended up winning boards 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So it did end up becoming 2 apiece, which meant it went to an ace match.
Yes.
And the ace match was Shin Jin-so versus Shin Min-jun.
Correct.
So basically the 2 top players of their respective teams, and Shin Jin-so won that.
Very nice.
So Shin Jin-so is just gone. He's won 2 games in one night.
Yep.
He's just gone on an absolute tear at the moment. Of course, that extends his win streak to 35.
35 games, yes.
Consecutive wins.
Yep.
Now, I believe he said that his goal now is to get to 50 consecutive wins.
Right.
He actually said that's his primary goal, and his secondary goal is winning the league.
Right. Who cares about your team? personal
I guess
achievement
he's
going
saying that
forward.
because obviously he himself can't win the league on his own.
Yeah,
We saw in the last season where he won
yeah,
every single game and his
yeah,
team still lost,
yeah,
still came second.
yeah,
So obviously he can focus on himself. He can determine, like, it's up to him to win his games.
yeah,
And we did also mention that the record in any competition, open or restricted, for consecutive wins is 39 by Choi Jeong
yep,
in the Chinese Women's Yi League.
yep,
So I guess the next goal is that.
yeah,
A bit of a breaking news: Shin Jin-so was actually playing tonight,
yep,
and he's already won. He already
yeah,
finished his game, so
yeah.
his win streak has now gone to 36 wins.
Yes. And there's a question in the chat about how many times has Shin Jin-so been chosen for the ace match. I believe so far this season, 2, but tonight could be his 3rd, but we don't know yet.
Yes, that's correct. He has been chosen for 2 ace matches, and it's good that you asked that question because a player can only play 6 ace matches in one season.
Yes.
So they have a quota. So Shin Jin-so has played twice.
Yep.
He is only able to play 4 more.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the ace match, they won't always necessarily select the team's top player.
Right.
And later on in the season, they may not even be able to select the top player because they've already done their 6.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. So and it's a very interesting maybe game theory question about when to send your best player out as ace player. I would have thought that it would be advantageous to send them out as soon as possible because you may not get a chance later on. But I don't know.
there are scenarios. For instance, if a team has 2 absolute guns,
Yeah.
and then 2 sort of deadbeats.
Yeah.
If it ends up getting to an ace match, you can basically split the duties between your 2 top players.
Yep.
And Kicks may have that sort of scenario because Park Jin-sol is their number 2 player, and he's been playing quite well so far this season.
Yep.
So they seem to at least have a second player that they could put in for the ace match.
Yep.
But yeah, it really depends. I would think that they would just put in Shinjin. So Kicks does have the luxury of the fact that they have 6 Shinjin. So he's probably, if he plays 6 ace matches, he's probably going to win at least 5.
Right.
That's not a luxury that any other team has. They can't basically guarantee wins like that.
Yeah. I guess if they're I imagine Team Kicks with Shinjin-so, if they play Team Japan, they may really seriously consider not putting Shinjin-so in the ace match. Even if it gets to the ace match. But
yes. But that's a scenario that we might look at some other time.
Yeah.
When it happens.
Yes.
Speaking of Team Japan, were you going to say something?
Oh no, I was going to say because Team Japan played like 2 days later after that.
They actually played 1 day later. They played on the Sunday.
Okay.
Someone's putting in the comments. I mentioned Shinjin So's guaranteed to get 5 out of 6.
Yeah.
Why not 6? Well, he's not going to win every single time.
Yeah. Big call, Gaza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Team Japan did play on Sunday, and who did they play? They played POSCO Chemicals.
Yes.
Now that's Won Song Jin's team.
Yeah.
Now, this was an interesting one. So the first player was Yuki Sakai. Sakai Yuki. My mistake. Sakai Yuki.
Yeah.
Now he actually lost. He lost to Han Woo Jin.
Yes.
So this was kind of a rookie battle.
Yes.
In fact, they're both. It's actually a match. I I didn't realize this at the time, but this is actually a match between the Japanese Rookie King and the Korean Rookie King.
Right. Very nice.
So it was a Rookie King battle. So that was
Yeah.
exciting. And in
Yep.
the end, Han Woo-jin actually prevailed in that one.
Yep.
But on board 2, there was good news. Hirose Yuichi,
Yuichi, yep.
he actually beat Park Min-kyu, who's a top 20 player
Very nice.
in Korea.
Yep.
So that was a big win for Hirose Yuichi and Team Japan. And then Ryuhei Onishi.
Yep.
Sorry, Onishi Ryuhei.
Yep.
He was on board 3, but he lost to Kang Yu-take.
Yep.
A bit of a veteran player. And then, that put POSCO Chemicals up 2-1. So board 4, it was a must-win for Team Japan, and it was Fukuoka Kitaro against Wonsong Jin.
Yes.
So a bit of a tough ask for Fukuoka Kitaro playing the legendary Wonsong Jin.
Yep.
But he was actually doing really well.
Yes.
Fukuoka Kitaro. And then a disaster happened.
Yes. What happened, Gaza?
So Fukuoka Kitaro was actually leading against Korea's number 8,
Yep.
Wonsong Jin,
Yep.
and he ran out of time.
Yes. Now.
He ran out of. Now we did mention that Koike Yoshihiro, when he lost in 85 moves, he also ran out of time.
Yeah.
And from our research, we weren't sure if it was accidental or if it was he intentionally let it run out of time because he was losing. From our research, it looked like it was accidental because there was still a co-fight.
Yeah.
But in that case, Koike Yoshihiro was behind. He was losing.
Yeah.
In this case, Fukuoka Kitaro was not behind. In fact, AI had him ahead.
Yep.
But he didn't make it. He didn't make a move in time. And just his reaction when he realized that he'd lost on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you actually found it humorous. I found it quite devastating.
Right.
Because to play as well as he did against such a strong player, and then to lose like that is pretty heartbreaking.
Yes. And I couldn't find the clip anymore. I thought I could, but I was looking for it, but it was.
You don't have the. Is it? Oh, it's not on Baduk TV, is it?
It was. I'm not sure they took a clip because the clip was actually taken by me. I wonder if it's actually in Discord somewhere. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, wait, no, you've posted the clip in the subreddit.
Right.
I'll send it to you in our secret chat.
Secret chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I'm not sure if you want to play it on the podcast, but.
I actually do. I really do want to play it on the podcast. So let's.
Okay, so we're playing the clip of Fukuoka Kitaro. So you can't actually see the screen. This is Fukuoka Kitaro's face. And look, that's when he realized. So he tries to make it. He tries to click. Obviously, he clicks like a split second too late.
Yeah.
And then this is reaction. First, it's surprise, and then it's realization that it's all over.
Look how devastated he is.
And the thing is, he wasn't guaranteed to win the game, but he was ahead.
Yes.
There was still a lot of the game to play, but he was ahead. And to have that opportunity and to not be able to finish, continue it.
Yeah.
You feel for him.
Yeah. I feel sorry for him.
But and not only that, not only does he lose the game, but Japan loses 3-1.
Yeah, yeah.
So that actually sealed the loss for Japan. Japan have yet to win a match. Yeah. So tough, but you have to learn. Yeah. And we've seen a lot of timeout losses in this tournament. and people are saying it's because of Fisher timing.
Yeah.
I really don't think it is. I just don't understand. Firstly, with the computers, Fisher timing and Byoyomi shouldn't really make a difference.
No.
Like you have to make a move before the time runs out. There's
Yeah.
still a countdown.
Yeah.
And with the over the board playing, I mean the Korean Yongseong uses Fisher timing.
Right.
So these players should be, especially all these players, like these are, the best in Korea, the best players in Korea. They've all played in the Yongseong.
Yeah.
They've all used Fisher timing before.
Yeah.
It doesn't make much sense to me why so many are timing out. It could be because the way they have to press the button, they have to press a button in front of them.
Right.
Maybe it's different in the Korean League than it is to the Yongseong. I'm not sure.
So in Yongshong, what's the time control? Because the Fisher increment in this league is like 20 seconds per move.
Yongseong is also 20 seconds.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not really sure what's happening there because
I'm not sure what's happening, but it could be they're using a different apparatus to actually
right.
At the increment. You can see in some photos that the players actually have a button in front of them. They have to press the button.
Yeah.
To before the time runs out.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that they're just messing that up. But hopefully players figure it out soon enough.
Yeah.
Now, that was the end of that week of matches.
Yeah.
But the next week of matches started on Wednesday, and it started with Team Taiwan.
Yep.
Against Korea Price Information. Now that's Kang Dong-yoon's team.
Yep.
Now, Team Taiwan, they sent out sort of a mixed bag of two of their strong players and two of their lesser players, I would say. Now, their two strong players, they sent out Lin Junyan and Zhu Haohong.
Yep.
Now, I think I've got that right. Let me just quickly check.
Yep.
Yes. So Lin Junyan, he played the veteran Cho Han-seong.
Yep.
And Cho Han-seong actually won that one.
Right. Yes, that's right.
But Zhu Haohong won. I believe Zhu Haohong has not lost a game so far. Oh no, he has. He's lost one game. But he's 3-1.
Yes.
He's 3-1, so that's not bad. But he beat Han Song-ju.
Yes.
This time around. Han Song-ju is a top 20 player.
Very nice.
Let me just quickly check. He's 16.
Yeah.
Number 16 in Korea. So good win for that. Then on board 3, they had Chen Chi-rui.
Right, yep.
Is that how I pronounce it?
Yep.
Chen Chi-rui?
Chen Chi-rui, yep.
Yeah, now he
lost to Kang Dong-yoon.
He lost to Kang Dong-yoon. Now this is quite notable because this is Kang Dong-yoon's 150th win in the Korean League over his career, and he's the 4th player to do that.
Yep.
Now the first 3 are Choi Chol-han, Kim Ji-sok, and the previously mentioned Park Junghwan. So Kang Dong-yoon joins that exclusive club.
Very nice.
And now, Kang Dong-yoon also won another award. Apparently, he won the runner-up prize in the Best Celebration
award.
Nice. Now, this is a new feature in the Korean League. They have these little celebrations after the game.
Yeah.
Now, for most of them, it looks pretty embarrassing. But Kang Dong-yoon just decided to, live the moment.
Right.
And I'll send you via our secret chat again.
Yeah.
A clip of his celebration. It's quite an interesting celebration. You may want to play it.
Yeah. And now, Gaza, talking about interesting celebration, we have played the one by Choi Jeong, right?
No, we haven't done the one by Choi Jeong.
Right. So this is a reenactment of what can happen if you don't press the clock on time, I believe.
Yes. So Kang Dong-yoon's celebration, it was actually miming losing on time.
Yeah.
A player losing on time, and it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
And so he ended up apparently. So they weren't going to have awards, but people were liking these so much. These were
Yeah.
becoming so popular that the Baduk League just spontaneously decided to have awards for
Right.
best celebration of the month.
And
And
what about
apparently,
this one?
oh, which
What about this one by Choi Jeong?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Should that
yeah,
should that have one?
yeah. I think people are big fans of this one.
Yeah.
But Kang Dong Yoon, he won the runner-up prize for best celebration. Now I'm not sure who the winner was. I'm not sure if I don't think they've actually announced the winner yet.
Uh,
But I believe my guess is that it's Choi Jeong.
right.
Choi
Right.
Jeong has won. Choi Jeong
Flick of the hair.
will get the win for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting that the Baduk League is having their celebration of the month awards. Maybe they were inspired by our awards, Jada.
Yeah. Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
But back to the match. That was board 3, and that put career price information up 2-1. So it was down to board 4. Now board 4, Team Taiwan put out how do you pronounce it?
Wang Yanjun. Jia Jingting.
Jiang Jingting?
Yeah, Jia Jingting.
Jia Jingting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's Jian Jingting.
Jian Jingting.
Yeah.
And he actually played someone from career price information brought up someone from the Futures League, their Futures League
Right.
team,
Yeah.
Wei Tae Woong.
Taiwan.
Now he's a big player. He's also quite a good mentor. He's
Right.
mentored some of the newer pros, like some of the players that have turned pro last year.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he didn't win this game. But fortunately for Taiwan, that
Yeah.
meant it was 2-2.
Yeah.
And so it came down to an ace match. Now, in
Ace
the ace
match.
match, Taiwan actually brought out a different player.
Yeah.
They brought out Wang Wanjun,
Yeah.
whereas career price information brought out Han Sung-ju, who lost
Yes.
to Zhu Haohong earlier in the match. So he was trying to get redemption,
Yeah.
while Wang Wanjun was trying to get Team Taiwan's second win.
Yeah.
And in the end, Han Sung-ju won this game. And does anyone in the chat want to guess how he won?
It's printed on the screen.
Oh, it's printed on the screen? Okay, so Han Sung-ju won because Wang Wanjun lost on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
Yep.
So
Surprise, surprise. They just can't seem to figure it out. No one can seem to figure it out.
yeah. This seems to be a little bit of a theme for the Korean Baduk League. I don't think it's a good thing. Hopefully they can fix it. I mean, if so many players are, making the mistakes.
But the thing is, this game was on computers. I don't understand. I can't understand losing on time on computers. The fact that it's Byoyomi and Fisher should be irrelevant on computers because you just have to make your move before it gets down to 0. It doesn't make much sense to me. Maybe the fact that it's only 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Like they're not used to only having because they don't have 20-second Byoyomis in any competitions.
No.
So maybe that is the reason. But they will figure it out, and I mean they have to. They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
But anyway, yesterday Celtrion beat Taigem 3-2. Don't really have anything interesting to say to that. And today we've got POSCO Chemicals against Team Kicks.
Yeah.
And so far it's 1 apiece.
Yep.
Han Woo-jin beat Kim Sung-jae, whereas Shin Jin-so beat Park Min-kyu. So it's 1 apiece. And yeah, we've already posted the links, so you can watch that if you wish. There's Park Jin-sol is currently playing Won Song-jin, so that's actually quite a big matchup, that one. But yeah, that's it for the Korean League.
Let's keep Korean League. Now, Gaza, I don't recall if we have anything else to cover apart from the calendar.
Okay, no, we do have one thing, two things to mention.
Yes.
Staying in Korea, we have a very small update
Right.
on the Korea's Strongest League.
Right. Korea's strongest
So
league.
we mentioned the Korea's Strongest League. We mentioned the 8 qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just quickly give a recap of that. So the 8 players that we already knew in the league. So from the top 4 finishers in last year's league
Mm.
were Shin Min-jun,
Yep.
Byun Sang-il, Park Junghwan, and Lee Chang-seok.
Lee Chang-suk. Yep.
Um, a bit of a side note, Lee Chang-seok just got promoted to 9-dan.
Very nice.
So congratulations to him.
Yep.
But they all qualified for this year's league because they finished top 4 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Then the players that earned their spot in the qualifiers were Won Song-jin, Park Jin-sol, Park Min-kyu, and Park Yun-ho.
Mm.
And that's where we got up to last time. Now, we did mention that it's a 9-player league, and the last player is a wildcard selection.
Yep.
And the wildcard selection is, drumroll, Choi Jeong.
Choi Jeong. Very nice.
Now, I just want to quickly say I'm not a fan of this selection.
Why is that, Gaza?
And it's not because I'm not a fan of Choi Jeong. I am a fan of Choi Jeong.
Yeah.
And it's not, I do want to see her in the league. I think it's going to be great
Yeah.
to see her play against these players.
Mm.
My objection is the fact that, as far as I can see, Choi Jeong did not participate in the preliminaries.
Right.
She didn't actually, in my opinion, if you don't actually try to qualify, you don't deserve a wild card. That's
Right.
just my opinion.
Right.
Now, it's counted by the fact that the wild card is actually selected by the sponsors.
Right.
And the sponsors are the ones that, provide the prize money to the tournament. So it's basically their tournament.
Mm.
And if they want a player in the tournament, they're given the wild card to have the opportunity to put that player in the tournament. So in that case, if they want Choi Jeong, that's fair enough. I'm not going to argue with that.
Yep.
But in my opinion, I would have preferred that she actually tried to qualify in the first place.
Yep.
But, that's just me. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great to see Choi Jeong in this league. I'm very excited to see how she goes.
Yep.
This is the only competition in Korea that still uses a title holder challenger format. So whoever wins this league will challenge Shin Jin-so for the title. So that's why Shin Jin-so himself is not in the league.
Yes.
But it is a 9-player league. It will be a single round robin. They will play each other once. And it's these are all top 20 players.
Yep.
So it's really going to be an exciting league.
Yes. I am very much looking forward to this. This is almost like a back kind of like a blast from the past kind of thing. It's kind of like based on the Japanese leagues, but it's got a title challenger whole system. So very interesting stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Korea used to have a lot of title holder challenger systems. They got a lot of inspiration from Japan, but over the years they've done away with that, and almost all of them are knockouts, which does make it hard to compare, players of the past and current. Like you see players like Lee Chang-ho with over 100 titles, and then Shin Jin-so has, only 30. But the thing is, it's a lot harder to win each title nowadays. Yes. I see a mention from Elon. Japan has to make Yuno Asami part of the team next year. I thought it would have been a great idea to have Yuno Asami in the team this year, or Fujita Arena.
That would be great. Yeah.
Yes, but maybe next year. I genuinely hope that they keep Team Japan and Team Taiwan in.
Yeah.
But even though they haven't been that successful of currently.
Yeah.
It's still they're getting close. Japan is getting close. Taiwan have actually won a match.
Yes.
Japan is getting close.
Hmm.
Fukuoka Katara said that the goal is to win one match.
Yeah.
I it's a bit disappointing to hear that sort of goal because they're definitely good enough to win a match.
Yes.
It's not like they're being blown out of the water each time. They've lost 4-0 once,
Yeah.
but apart from that, they've reached
The ace match once
the ace match once.
and
Probably
3-1.
should have reached another time.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I hope that they just keep at it. This is good experience.
Yes.
And so one last thing is that the Jia League actually returned.
Yes. Of course.
Now the Jia League returned. It returned today.
Hmm.
The thing is though, we're not. It's a little bit difficult to know who exactly what teams played because now last year with the Jia League, every day there was a Jia League round.
Yep.
Every team played.
Yeah.
Every team played in the round.
Hmm.
This year, there's been so many disruptions because of COVID
Yeah.
that some teams have are behind
Yeah.
in games. So today's round was a bit of a catch up round. So some teams didn't play because they're already up to date, while other teams are very far behind.
Yep.
And they need to play. What I do know is that so two games that I was following were the two Koreans that were in action.
Yes.
And one of them was Kang Dong-yoon.
Yep.
He played Zhu Jiayang.
Yeah. Kang Dong-yoon. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Xu Chaoyuan.
Yeah, Zhu Jiayang.
Yeah. Xu Yang. Yep.
A very strong Chinese player. And Kang Dong-yoon ended up winning that game.
Yep. Very nice.
And the other one was Kim Myung-hun.
Yep.
He played Yi Changjin,
Yep.
who is one of the most promising young players from China. Certainly one of the most promising in the Jia League. He's only 15 years old.
Yep.
Kim Myung-hun did end up winning that game.
Yes.
So the two Korean players did win. Kim Myung-hun, he had a shocking Jia League last year, so it's good to see him get a win at least.
Yes.
Yeah, so
And and Gaza, in terms of the Jia League, we'll talk a little bit about that in the calendar as well. But
yeah, but we'll have more on the Jia League next week. We'll probably do a bit more comprehensive wrap up next week. And someone just mentioned, bit of breaking news, but Park Jin-sol just made a very bad move.
Right.
Against Wong Song-jin. So that's bad news for Team Kicks. That's good news for POSCO Chemicals. The other match is Kang You Take versus Baekhyun Woo in that match.
Right.
In that matchup. So still not sure who's if Won Song Jin wins, then Baekhyun Woo will have to beat Kang You Take for it to go to an ace match. So exciting for that. But anyway, that's it for us.
Yep.
In the news.
And Gaza, we might as well go to the calendar to quickly have a look what's happening there.
Yeah, let's have a look at the calendar.
So looking at the calendar, what we have is you mentioned the Jia League, which has started today, and of course the Kisei will continue.
Yes.
Tomorrow. In the Jia League, tomorrow we have Shenzhen taking on Chuzhou, and Shenzhen, of course, is a team that consists of Ke and Park Junghwan. And now, believe it or not, Ke is been put into the main player spot again. His opponent
is in the main player spot. Very nice.
Very nice. He's playing Tojashi. And Ke, you may remember, he's gone 2-6 in the main player spot. And I believe his win rate this year in the Jia League is barely 50%, which is definitely not up to the standards of the old Ke.
Abysmal.
Pretty terrible, especially in the main player board. Now you have to remember that Ke actually won the best main player last year in the last season.
Yeah.
And this season he's gone 2-6, in the first 8 games. So
He's not going to win it this season.
well, doubt it. Very very much doubt it. And you have to remember, Shinjin So also hasn't had a great Jia League by his standards. So
By
I
his
believe,
standards, correct.
yeah, he's about maybe 50%, maybe just about 50%.
He's a bit above 50%. I
Yeah.
think he's maybe 5-3 or something like that.
Yeah. So
Actually, I'm not sure. I may be making those numbers up, but he's definitely above 50%.
yeah. And again, we'll have Kim Min Hyun in action again tomorrow for Beijing, Team Beijing.
Wait, is Shinjin So in action tomorrow?
Not that I can tell. No, it's only Kerja's team, and
I know that Shinjin So's team is not behind in games, so
Right, yeah.
they may not play tomorrow.
yeah. So they will, I think the first couple of days it's just purely catch up games, and then they will finish off the regular season, the last 2 rounds of the regular season, and then the postseason happens. So it's going to be a pretty packed calendar for the Jia League over the next week. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to how Kerja performs. I'm almost sure that he will lose, but let's see.
I'm sure that he lose. Well, harsh.
Oh yeah, and on Sunday we have the Korean League, Team Taiwan again appearing, and the Crown Haitei Cup final game.
The Crown Haitei Cup final, Shinmin Jun against Park Yun Ho. Yes,
That's on.
Now, Team Taiwan, they're playing Team Wonick.
Yep.
Wonick has been a very strong team, so it's going to be difficult for them, especially Lee Jae-hyun has seemed to have found some form again, which is great because he's in the Asian Games team.
Very nice.
And we've got a big one. We've got a big one
On Monday.
on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Team Taiwan against Team Kicks.
Oh, that's Shinjin So's team, Team Kicks.
Team Kicks. Wouldn't it be cool to see Shinjin Zhou versus Zhu Haohong?
Yes, it would be. But
Now the thing is, though, the two teams don't decide in advance. Like they don't collaborate to determine who plays who. They basically just put players on boards.
Yeah.
So it's a bit random as to who gets matched up with who.
Yeah.
Team Kicks would obviously want to pair up Shinjin So against the best player.
Yeah.
The opponent's best player, so that they beat the best, because Shinjin So will probably win.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't work like that. So
I was gonna say you went straight to Tuesday, but on Monday I believe there's a big one as well, which is the women's Kisei Game 3, Sumire versus
women's Kisei Game 3.
Yes, the last game.
Oh my god,
yeah.
Oh god, I better make room in my calendar for that one.
Yeah, that'll be a big
one.
That
is just a reminder: Yuno Asami versus Nakamura Sumire.
Yeah.
Game 3 of 3. It's a sudden death game. Yes,
and we could be seeing Sumire's third attempt at a title being successful, third time lucky.
This is going to be insane.
That'll be insane.
It's going to be insane. We're definitely going to talk about that in the
next week's podcast. Yeah.
In next week's podcast, yeah. So another packed week. This one's going to be even more dense because we've got so much Jia League.
Yeah, Jia League will be happening. That will be crazy.
Huge match.
Yeah. So can't wait. And and
thanks again for everyone that's listened and posted in the chat.
Yep. They make this a lot more enjoyable.
Yes. Hopefully we were able to answer your questions.
Yep.
But yeah, other than that, we will
see you next time.
Next week.
Yeah. All right. See you guys. Bye.